Hillary Clinton is claiming victory as the Democratic Party nominee for US president. She won 4 out of the last 6 primaries, including California. President Obama called to congratulate his former Secretary of State, but he has stopped short of an official endorsement. Tomorrow, he'll meet with Clinton's rival Bernie Sanders, who's yet to drop out of the race. Phoebe Lanza-Wood has the latest.
To make this country
the first time in our nation's history that a woman will be a major party's nominee for president of the United States.
A milestone for women and a milestone for America. So says Hillary Clinton, who's now within reach of the White House after claiming the Democratic Party nomination in the 2016 presidential race. But it's rival Bernie Sanders who's still sparking debate, which hasn't gone unnoticed by the Clinton camp.
And the vigorous debate that we've had about how to raise incomes, reduce inequality, increase upward mobility have been very good for the Democratic Party and for America.
Across the country in California, Sanders refused to acknowledge a defeat. That's despite President Barack Obama already congratulating Clinton for securing the delegates needed to clinch the nomination.
together. We know what our job is, and that is to bring the American people together to create a government that works for us, not the 1%. Next Tuesday, we continue the fight in the last primary in Washington, D.C.
At his request, Senator Sanders is due to meet with Obama on Thursday.
Thank you all. The struggle continues.
Vowing to fight till the bitter end, he still plans to press onward until July's national convention, when all the superdelegates will be allocated.
Well, critics of Bernie Sanders have told him it's time to face the facts, but he's staying the course with 9 days left until the contest is officially over. Emerald Maxwell has the story.
It's an unusual move at this stage in the campaign, but Bernie Sanders has refused to give up the race to the Democratic nomination, vowing to take it all the way to Philadelphia, where the Democratic convention will be formally held in July.
I am pretty good in arithmetic, and I know that the fight in front of us is a very, very steep fight. But we will continue to fight for every vote and every delegate we can get.
This comes after Hillary Clinton won decisively in 4 of 6 states on Tuesday, including the biggest prize, California. She has a commanding lead with some 900 pledged delegates and has already claimed the nomination. But Sanders' last-ditch hopes are pinned on swaying the superdelegates, who can change their minds about their votes at the convention. The defiance shown by Sanders hinders Clinton's attempts to begin uniting the party. She faces an uphill battle, as many of her supporters remain hostile towards the former First Lady.
I'm not happy to vote for Hillary, and also I think people forget that it's not clear that Hillary can win against Trump. She's got a lot of vulnerabilities, which Trump will absolutely exploit.
The media became the story in this situation. They told us who the winner was before the election ended, and a lot of people stayed home today because of it. And I feel like it basically railroaded democracy.
Bernie Sanders is to meet with Barack Obama on Thursday. The president's official endorsement is expected this week.
Well, for more, we can go now to the US. I'm joined by Ian Reifowitz. He's a professor of historical studies at the University of New York. Thanks for being with us here on France 24. Bernie Sanders was holding out for California, wasn't he? But he had a disappointing result there. Is it getting a bit ridiculous now for him to stay in the race?
Well, we can't judge exactly yet the level of ridiculousness, and I love that word. We have to look back at 2008. Hillary Clinton took 3 days until after the final primary before she came out and endorsed Barack Obama. We still have another primary next Tuesday in Washington, D.C. So if we want to judge how ridiculous Senator Sanders is, We can do so by comparing him to Secretary Clinton in 2008. By that count, he's still got another 9 days before he crosses over into full ridiculousness. I think he's got to make a decision relatively quickly in order to get the process started for him to climb down. But I do see the fact that he's got a meeting at the White House on Thursday, and the fact that he's had preliminary, or his people have had preliminary meetings with the Clinton people, at least according to reports, as telling us that he's begun that process of climbing down.
And what about President Obama then? When will he officially offer his endorsement?
Oh, I think you'll see that after the meeting with Sanders. I think it would probably be considered bad form for him to endorse Secretary Clinton before he has his private meeting with Bernie Sanders. But that'll be on Thursday. I expect to see Friday or over the weekend a formal endorsement of Secretary Clinton. But remember, he's already congratulated her. The President, Obama, has already congratulated Secretary Clinton on having won the nomination. So that's essentially an endorsement of an informal nature. And we'll see the formal one, I think, Friday or Saturday.
Do you think the fact that Sanders has stayed in the race so long, I mean, Sanders, who was pretty unknown before all of this began, do you think that he has harmed Clinton's ability to defeat Trump?
Not to this point. No, I don't think so. And we can look at 2008, where you had a race between Obama and Clinton that was much closer, where Hillary Clinton won the majority of the final few contests. And yet, because Secretary Clinton really did go out of her way to really forcefully and fully endorse Senator Obama and make it very clear to her voters that she was going to be part of his team, I don't think it hurt at all. As long as Bernie Sanders does something along those lines, then we can, I think we can safely say that his extended campaign has not hurt Secretary Clinton, because he will have brought new voters out into the Democratic primary process who might not otherwise have come out. And then, as long as he's able to deliver the vast majority of them successfully to Secretary Clinton, then, if anything, he will have helped her campaign and her chances in the fall. However, there is a chance that he might not follow along that path that Secretary Clinton laid out in 2008. I would be surprised, though. Senator Sanders needs to go back to the U.S. Senate. He wants to see his priorities made into law. He wants to take his newfound influence and apply it to achieving the goals that he has laid out in this campaign. And the only way he's going to be able to do that is if he plays ball, so to speak, and joins Team Clinton.
Just a brief word on the Republicans, because the Democrats may be divided, not yet ready to unify behind Clinton, but the Republicans are actively pulling endorsements from their candidate, Donald Trump. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
I was hoping you'd ask if I'd ever seen anything like this before. No, I think it's unprecedented. Senator Mark Kirk knows where his bread is buttered. He is in a blue state, running for re-election to the Senate in a presidential year where Hillary Clinton should win his home state of Illinois by 20 points, if not more. He cannot have been happy to hear Donald Trump talk about race and the judge that's overseeing his case in a way that makes very clear that Donald Trump is toxic to minority voters. And so Mark Kirk may well be the first, but he won't be the last unless Donald Trump does something I don't think he's capable of doing, and that's stop being Donald Trump.
Ian Reifowitz, thank you very much indeed.